We are installing this Hydrovane today and tomorrow. There is no excuse, it will get done.
A bit of boat yoga. Call this the downward dinghy. The challenge of the whole job is getting the lower A strut married up to the hull. So I suppose we best go get a pizza. Look groovy.
Pretty much this morning, sanding backing plate installation!
Welcome to our self-inflicted adventure.
What seems like a lifetime ago, we left Australia intending to sail our way around the world.
It's been a rollercoaster since then, and while the plan has changed many times, we've been laughing our way through and learnt a new lesson for every step of the way.
And between us, the real adventure has only just begun.
Today is Hydrovane Installation Day. As much as we can, we are going to prick up the bracket today that we've had made from the fabricator. It's Friday today. Throughout the week we had to do a few trips back and forth to him to just kind of dry fit it and make sure that everything was in place where it should be, adding a little more, taking a little more away, figuring out where the bolt holes should go. So we are going to go over to the Dutch side today. It's a bit of a hike away, but we're going to go pick up some bolts, nuts, Sikaflex 4200, everything else that you might need for an installation. It's actually a fantastic day for doing this as well, because when we were trying to dry fit it the other day, it was so wavy. So trying to figure out where to put the final pieces in place was very hard in 1-2 foot waves. But it's flat as a pancake today. It's no wind, it's gorgeous, so it's actually a really good day for an installation.
Alright, here it is. Looks pretty cool. Woo, it's rock solid. Makes me happy. So I just gotta, just hope that when it's all bolted on, there's zero movement in it. There's no ability to work or to play or to chafe in any way. But I'm pretty confident. This looks really nice. And the polishing job's great. It's better than our chain plates.
Well guys, it is finally calm. We have had 3 weeks to a month of just 30 knot winds, rolling waves coming through anchorages, and our whole boat's just being turned upside down. And the wind gen has just been going off its chops all the time. And so needless to say, we haven't really got much work done over the last few weeks. You come out here and it's just kind of like wind is pelting your face. It's very hard to get things done. So our Hydrovane job has definitely been put on hold. But today, the wind has dropped off for what seems to be today and tomorrow. It's only going to be blowing about 15 knots, and so I've said to Adam, we are installing this Hydrovane today and tomorrow. There is no excuse, it will get done. We've attempted to actually install it twice now. The first time waves were just coming through the anchorage and we were raising up about 1 meter in the air and then coming back down again, and then raising up again and coming back down. And it's very hard to install a Hydrovane on the back of your boat when you are moving in such a fashion. Second time we tried to install it was we accidentally broke something. It's also, I guess, a kind of reason for our hiatus as well, was because we were just starting to rush jobs. We were starting to work in inappropriate times and rush jobs. So we're back with some better weather, and this Hydrovane is getting installed today or tomorrow, because tomorrow's not too bad either. What you doing there, buddy? Just having your morning yoga?
Yep. A little bit of boat yoga to call this the downward dinghy.
That was very sweet.
It's good, right? So the last thing you would have seen with regards to this was us dropping off the cardboard template at the fabricator, or possibly picking it up, I forget. Here it is, the finished product. It's designed to be married up with that horn cleat down there, which shares this bolt pattern, and it shares the bolt holes in the deck where both will be bolted, and this lower end strut goes onto the bottom bolt of the chain plate. It sort of shares the bolt. We have dry fit it once and it fits beautifully. It's rock solid, you can sort of stand on it, bounce on it, it doesn't move an inch, so I'm happy with how strong it's going to be. It's what we needed to do to get the Hydrovane far enough back to clear the rear push pit. I think it's like 11 inches that it overhangs the end of the deck, and subsequently we had to bridge that gap with this. But you know, for every foot further back the Hydrovane rudder is moved, the more effective it becomes. So that's a plus. So the next challenge we have to have is, we've had this on once, we're going to put it back on first job. The H bracket, which is the top bracket for the Hydrovane, sits flush on here, and then the hard part, the challenge of the whole job, is getting the lower A strut married up to the hull, because they need to be sort of symmetric, they need to be straight, they need to be lined up so that when you tighten it up, it doesn't, you're not introducing stresses onto the system. It needs to sit the same way done up as it does undone, so that you're not muscling it into place. It's quite an awkward place to work, having a canoe stern, and as Kiara said before, with the rock and rolling swell, it's been challenging to say the least. But today we'll have another go at it, maybe third time's a charm.
He's putting caulking on our bottom chain plate bolt.
Okay. Alright, lower. Down, 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 you're in line. Down, 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 wait for the pop.
Ooh.
Okay, that's it. Now bolts with me.
Alright, we have phase one complete. The bracket is actually on, and I'm very, very messy for the privilege of doing that. Next thing will be the A-frame, but that'll be after some coffee and breakfast. So we are fed, watered, and we are back on the job. The wind has piped up a little bit, but we're going to work through that. It'll be okay. It's not howling 30 knots. We've actually gotten to the stage where we surpassed what we did last time and broke it last time. So we haven't broken anything this time, and we have the pole?
Shaft.
Have a shaft in. You'll see throughout this whole thing that we have various bits of rags and clothing which are preventing scratches on our boat. So on the A-frame we've got a pair of socks for him for our A-frame, and we've also got a pair of Adam's old, never used boxes as a rag for support. So we're slowly dressing our new Hydrovane and creating a character for him. What we're doing now is we need to put this A-frame, we need to put it over the back and kind of slot it into the shaft. Someone's going to hop in the dinghy and we'll try and get this A-frame over the back.
And for the record, those hill figures are fake.
Now there's a lot of eyeballing to get it even. So after much adjusting, we have the height right and the width of the A-brackets correct. At the moment, I'm just starting to sand the backing plate so that it sits flush with the hull.
And while Kiara is outside the boat, preparing the outer hull pads, I have to strip down the cabin sole of the bedroom, which we just varnished and installed. to get to the hull, basically, to put the backing plates on and to make sure where we drill the holes will be suitably strong. I'm not sure where they're going to come through yet. I haven't quite figured that out, but they're definitely going to need a nut on the back of the bolt. I have to pull the cap console out.
Final stage, the drilling. Just want to measure.
Okay, good idea. So the last step, we have to basically rebuild / bolster some of the stringers that we put in or replaced last time we had the boat in a state like this. One bolt hole came out through the middle of a stringer and one bolt hole came out through the hull where there is no stringer, which is sort of an inch lower. So you really can't put a backing plate there. It's just not a good area to try and put a good solid backing plate on. Before we sort of knock off for the day, we're just going to use this bolster that we had from when we put the stringers in before. We're going to thicken them up a little bit, and by that I mean widen them, so that both bolt holes on both sides will come out through a stringer. And then we're going to fair the stringer area so that it's a nice, flush, smooth, flat surface. So that's the plan. That's the last thing to do today. Then we have to wait for the glass to dry overnight. Then tomorrow we can sort of do the wet install.
I am so happy with the progress that we've made today. We have been, as mentioned, postponing this job for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we've tried so many times, and this is the furthest that we've got with it, and I'm so happy. So as tired as we are very ecstatic. One more step. It's literally this and then putting some bolts in. We are so close, so close.
We can't do much more until that's dry. The plan is to now let that dry and then fair it so it's flush so it'll take the backing plate. But we can't do much until that's dry, so I suppose we best go get a pizza.
Fine.
I'm knackered though, I don't know about you. Kiara has been a trooper today. A royal trooper. You got properly sunburnt.
Oh,
Have you
shall I
seen
show
your
you this
lower
one?
back?
Pizza it is.
False alarm. It is in fact not knock-off time, although pizza was obtained. But we came back and the fiberglass was dry enough to put silica over, and Kiara, being the good soldier that she is, has decided she's getting straight into it.
Okay, it is the morning and our work is all dry. We are going to sand it today to make it nice and flat. While I'm doing that, Adam is going to create a backing plate, which is also nice and flat. Then I'm gonna have to go back out in the dinghy and drill through our new beautiful thing. We will then pretty much just be able to put the bolts on, backing plate, that everything will come together. Adam will give you a much better explanation of what I've just said because I've just woken up and my words probably aren't fully functioning right now. So.
No, he won't.
Okay.
That was fine.
Pretty much this morning, sanding backing plate installation! Yes!
Looking groovy.
Oh, I love the skin protection. Anyone who's like, you should be wearing more skin protection. I got it covered today.
What's going on with that forehead? That's covered.
Oh no, I need a hat.
There it is. Almost a month in the making and a whole bunch of frustration and a broken part. We got there. We finally got a break in the weather and it's on, it's rock solid, it looks good, it's straight. I'm really happy with how it's come up. It looks good and straight. It looks like it belongs on the back of a boat like this too. I think it really suits it. So we have a lot of tidying up to do, but I just really want to put the head unit on just so I can, you know, just to finish it. Put the cherry on top just to finish it off. Okay, so the last thing to do, as you can see, the head unit is on the shaft. So what we need to do now is to put the rudder on the bottom of the shaft. Then I will put the beautiful vane. I love Hydrovane red. I love that. One day we're going to get an asymmetric and it's going to be Hydrovane red so that we have all blue, black on the bottom, red and red. It's going to be beautiful. Anyway, get the beautiful red vane up, which has already got its sock over the frame, and we'll test it just at anchor, just really see if it does its thing. And then the next job will be to go out sailing and see how she performs. I'm pretty excited about that. Got the spanner kit.
Adam made that spanner kit. He's very, very good.
It's the worst day of my life. Look at that rubbish stitching. Look at that stuff. It's the worst. It's the worst thing I've ever made.
And he should make more of them.
No. I've never had more respect for you for making dodges and biminis after I did this rubbish. Anyway, it is very convenient. You need to get in the dinghy, sweetheart. Or do you want me to, I'll hop in the dinghy and you can lower me down the rudder. Okay. How about that? So the rudder's on. As you can see, you've got like the 3 settings. First, second, third, and off. But essentially what's happening is this pin is moving to the right between the 2 prongs that are attached to the rudder post. And as you adjust this lever left and right, the little pendulum pin sort of swings at further along. It's so much clearer when you see it. The little pendulum pin swings further along the 2 prongs, and that gives it more leverage or less leverage. Or it moves the pendulum pin vertically, which makes it an extension of the rudder post, and then the 2 little prongs basically move independently of the rudder post, which is the off position. All that's left to do is to put the vane on and see if when the vane tilts over, the rudder moves. So let's do that. Here she is. This is it's fully assembled. Rudder on, vane on. I've got both locking pins in at the moment, so this vane is set to basically be straight into the wind. Earlier I spoke about a little control wheel that'll have 2 bits of string, or an infinite loop of string. That's this. And you rotate it one way and the vane rotates, and that's your new course. And you rotate the other way and that's your new course. So what I think we'll do now is pull both pins out as if we're sailing now, just letting the breeze coming past the boat act as apparent. And we'll set a course and see, and if it should lean over and the rudder should change from dead center. And then as the boat sort of, not that the boat will move because we're not moving through the water, but as the wind varies again, it should change back and it should just function. So let's try that. Vane locking pin out, rudder locking pin out. Operation all the way over to the left. Oh, there you go, it's working! It's working! Gets a gust, so the rudder goes that way, vane goes that way, rudder goes that way, which would bring the boat this way, thereby bringing the wind back onto the leading edge and keeping us correct. Cool.